Welcome to another in the series, The Sip and the Chat. Welcome to another in the series, Sip and the Chat. I'm your host, Lily Tomlinson, and it is indeed a pleasure to have you join us this afternoon. Well, here at Sip and Chat, we seek to delve into a number of issues that affect us socially, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Whatever it is, we try to address those issues here on Sip and the Chat. I trust you all had an amazing Easter holiday, and we're back at people are back at work, and some are looking back to go to school. And we hope that throughout all that time, the true meaning of the season was really embraced by so many people. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's another exciting show. I have with me a very special guest, one who has a very, very powerful. I mean, the power is just stuttering out of her mouth, but one who has a very, very amazing testimony that goes to show that our God is not dead, but He's truly alive. I want to welcome to the set today Mrs. Rosie Malcolm. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. It's a pleasure.
Yes, it's an amazing, when I listen to some of the discussions that we have before the show and then the guests come on the show, I usually get so excited because I know that there is a lot that you're going to learn from this today. So, Mrs. Malcolm, tell us a little bit about who is Rosie.
Well, Rosie is a girl who loves to pray, always in a little quiet time, focus on God and try to get things done, pleasing in the right of God.
Right. So in terms of, we talk about a lot about our giftings, you would say that whether your gifting is that you are a prayer intercessor.
Right. I love to pray. I love my quiet moment.
Right. How long have you been saved?
Well, I've been saved from a little girl, but coming up, I've slipped up along the way. But I've rededicated my life in the year 2000 on the 24th of February at the Lighthouse Assembly, 28 Uptown Road.
Wow, that's all the way over there in Papine, right?
Right.
What is it that was the trigger or the catalyst? What was it that said to you, like, listen, you need to rededicate your life to the Lord?
Well, as I said, growing up as a little girl, I grew in a Christian home where I see my mom and my dad. We're all Christian. Mm-hmm. And knowing that I slip away out of the faith, I wasn't comfortable in the world. Mm-hmm. Nothing out there makes me happy. And I constantly go into my church. My pastors and my minister, they didn't turn me away. Mm-hmm. And at the night of the crusade, God said, hey, it is your time. And I just answered to the call.
So you actually heard a voice saying, Rosie, tonight is your night.
Right.
Because a lot of people, we want people to understand that God is a speaking God. And maybe you could be right beside me and He says something to me and you don't hear, but the person to whom the message is intended will hear. So, Rosie, talk to us a little bit about, I know you said that when you were not saved, that the ministers, they came after you, they engaged you, they never see you on one side of the road and say, what a backslider there. But how important do you think that is to make sure that when persons are not saved, whether they were saved or they turned back, that people who are holy and righteous and on the right path, and they continuously engage them? How important is that?
It is really important because I said the ministers at my church, they never leave me. If they see me on the road, they still call me Sister Rosie. Mm-hmm. They are not going to call me Rosie. When are you coming back? And even when I do come back, and I would sit at the back of the church, they always encourage me to come up front and tell me that, hey, this is not the end of the world. Come back because there is more to you than this. They even bring me back that when I was a little girl, oh, God used to use me. Mm-hmm. So that encouraged me. When God called me, I really had to answer the call because I have to get back at that place where I once was before.
Wow. And so we just want to, right through the program, we always try to encourage people because a lot of times people feel that, you know what, if I mess up, God don't want me and my mess, and I'm not worthy. So you are saying to somebody today that if you backslide, when you're marked for purpose, God will find you and locate you. What you used to go back to dance or party?
No, I never party. I was just out there in the world. I was living with a baby father at the time because we didn't married yet. We have 2 kids. And life wasn't right. We were living out of Christ. I'm not a party girl. As I said, I was still coming to church, mm-hmm. but my life wasn't in line with God. Mm-hmm. So it's really important to come back to God, even in your mess. God can take your mess and turn it into a message.
Excellent. But one of the things I like interacting with you about, Rosie, is that you have had a near-death experience, an experience that, wow, when I listen to the story, I say it just had to be God. And I want you to share with us today that experience, and then we look at how that experience has pulled you closer to God. Talk to us about that experience.
Well, on the 5th of May 2021, I was going to fasting. But before it got to that, I get up in the morning, started to sweeping up my yard down into the walkway. And there's this enemy come up, try to start cussing, and but I didn't pay her any mind. You understand? But to I leave and go to fasting with my 2-year-old child at the time, not knowing that this young lady was at home planning what and what she was going to do to me when I return. So when I return, as I enter our walkway stay, I have to pass her gate before I reach my gate.
Okay.
And as I pass her gate a bit, she come out and she started like she wanted to start an argument. But knowing that I'm just coming from fasting, I wasn't in the toe-to-toe with her.
Right.
To cut the
Because fasting must make a difference, right?
I want to tell you that even at the fasting was so powerful. This same prayer shawl, one of our minister, she took the prayer shawl and she wrapped me with it. And I was wondering why she wrapped me with the prayer shawl. And every time I want to take off the prayer shawl, she tried to say to me, no, let the prayer shawl stay. And not to know that that very same evening, the enemy was sitting planning how to take my life. And as I passed my gate and the young lady come out and she tried to attack me, we were tussling, so we were like fighting. And it ended out. I didn't know that she had a knife. I didn't know that she was planning for my life. You understand me? And then I realized that I started to get stabbed.
So here you are, a woman of God coming from church, going home, and you were attacked by someone because they had a discontent with you earlier in the day.
Right.
And the next thing you know, you are receiving stab all over your body.
All over the body.
We have some pictures, and we're going to show those pictures to our viewers. But talk to us a little bit about that ordeal. Talk to us about it.
At the time and date when it happened, as I said, even in the whole interaction between me and this young lady, even when she come out, I didn't even know that she had a knife until she started to stabbing me. But God is so good. God was there with me because Dr. Lilith, I know that she was stabbing me, but I didn't feel one of them.
Wow.
I don't feel one. Oh, I know that she was stabbing me because of the blood.
Okay. And about how many stabs you got?
14 stabs.
14 stabs?
14 stabs.
1 4.
1 and a 4. 14.
Wow.
And out of the 14, 5 is in my head. But the 5 that is in my head, I received 3 stabs in my mole. So the doctor confirmed that the mole stab could have killed me. I got one in the upper part of the spine. So I could be crippled. Right? And the rest of them is at the side of my head. It's down to the doctor. We're in a maze of how I'm alive today. I remember when I left and to go to the hospital, I did not call my husband, my baby father at the time. We didn't marry yet. His persons in the community heard and called him. And when them call him and him go, I think he said he just got to her to ask her, why you my baby mother have face stab her up like that? And him and her started to argue. But then he leave and go up the house. And then she see him and turn around and call the police, stating that my baby father wanted to kill her. So when the police came and they go to her, she take the police to my baby father, and the baby father come down, and my baby father was explaining to the police what happened. But before she called the police, Bishop, she stating that she wash away the blood, come out with bucket of water saying she wash away the blood. But I think God did have something else in store. Because when the police came and my baby father was explaining to the police at the time, my baby father said, look at your foot. And to the amount of blood was there, the police asked the question, who just did right yes, so?
Wow. Based on the blood that was coming from the amount of stabs that you got.
Right. Because the person thought that they washed away the blood, but everything didn't wash away. Wow. So that was the evidence that the police have and take the young lady away.
Right.
You understand? And when they came by the hospital and see me, I went operating theater 2 times. 2 times. You could literally lift up my nostril off my face.
Oh, because you got one in your face.
Yes, from the upper part of the eye come down right, or you could take off the whole entire nose off my face itself. When my mother was there, my mother wanted to go to the police station. And the doctor said to my mother, the doctor said to my mother, lady, sit down, make we try and save your picnic first.
Because I can just imagine she was hurting.
She was. She was. You understand? And when the doctor them look, because at one time I was sleeping away like this. I remember my eye was closed and I said to mommy, take care of the kids for me. And when the doctor realized and when they opened my eye, they said, which church do you go? What's the name of your pastor? What's the name of your bishop? And when I tell them, they said, stay underneath your pastor leadership. Continue go to the church, what you're going. Because they said they find it impossible for me get 14 stab and I'm still alive. And person coming there with 1 stab and them just gone.
Wow. And when you explain, you said somewhere very close to your mole, and there was one that was at the top of your spine.
Yes.
And one was in your face that caused your nostrils to that could have been taken off your nostrils and looked inside.
And I get one under the heart as well.
Okay.
The one under the heart, the doctor said it has to be God. Them don't know how the knife no go right through the heart.
So all this time when she was stabbing you, what were you doing?
I was trying to fight back. This is how I get this hand damage.
Okay.
Because when I realized that she had the hand, this was the hand I used to try to take the knife out of her hand. So this finger ended up cut bad. And the doctor said every nerve in this finger is damaged.
Okay.
So I have a time when I don't really have any feelings in this finger.
Oh, it's numb.
It's numb.
Okay. Wow. So you stayed in the hospital for how long?
I spent in the hospital for a week. And I come out and I did go back in afterwards. Because when I came out, I was trying to move up and down and at one point I just feel like I call my mommy, I call my husband, my baby father at the time, and I said, I feel like I'm going to die. And my husband said, my baby father said, when he come and lie down on the table like this, unconscious. I could hear them, but I couldn't respond.
How old were the kids at that time?
My son was 2, and my biggest son was 7 at the time.
Right. So do they don't recall anything?
Yes.
They do?
Especially the little one, because he was right in the midst when it's happening. He was there. He was the one that I take to fasting with me. So even when we were hustling and tussling, he was at my foot. So even when somebody else come and pull him, he cry and come back at my foot. Even in the night when my baby father come from work and asked her, what is it? Why she stabbed me up like that? He was at his father's foot. So he get caught up in everything.
All of that. When you look back at this incident, what comes to your mind? Like, when you think about life and your purpose, what comes to you?
Only thing I could say, it has to be God. Because I remember at one point, it has to be God. Because I remember even while I was at the hospital, I was on the bed. And the flesh did kick in. And I was planning what I'm going to do. And I even said, I'm going to put down the Bible. And there was this lady on the other cross of the bed. I didn't know that she was hearing me. And the morning she get up and she come to my bed and she said, I heard you last night, But don't put down the Bible. Pick it up. Read Psalms 35 and call the person name to God. And make God fight your battle for me. So it has been a rough road. And from the incident happened, from the incident, I don't like talk about it. My husband don't like talk about it. Is when the youth president from Hope Tavern asked me to give a testimony on the prayer platform. That's the first time I talk about it, and this time my second time. Because it had so much impact on me and my husband and my kids, I didn't like talking about it.
But no, you're an overcomer.
But no, I'm an overcomer.
Right. But I'm thinking here, Mrs. Malcolm, Sister Rosie, that something like that could cause you to become so bitter, so bitter towards whoever did this, what is that? What is your state of mind? Because first of all, I know you said, and which is true, you said at one time, even when in your hospital bed, that flesh did kick in, and you're making up in your mind what you were going to do from what you were not going to do, and no matter how spiritual you are, sometimes we all get to that place where we feel pain and we feel hurt, and we might make up in our mind to do things, but thank God for the power of God to speak through others or to speak to us directly, and we're able to come out of that. So, what are some of the things that you want to say to somebody who, somebody hurt them real bad, and how do they move on beyond that?
I would like to encourage a person and say, hey, it's not going to be an easy road. It's never easy because I was at the brink of giving up. But when you come in contact with God, you just have to let go and let God deal with it for you. It is not easy. God will show up for you. You don't know how, you don't know when, but He will. It is hard. Sometimes you feel like God don't hear. Mm-hmm. But no matter your situation or what you're going through, don't give up. Because at the end of your dark tunnel, there's a shining light. And I reached the end of my dark tunnel now. My light is about to shine.
Your light is shining.
And if God can save me from 14 stabs, God can save you out of any situation. If God can heal me from 14 stabs, He can heal anybody. So I just want to encourage you. Never give up. And if you feel like you want to give up, call on somebody, because there must be somebody you can pray with. Mm-hmm. There must be somebody you can say, hey, I don't think I can manage. Pray for me. There are times when I have to depend on people's prayers. I'm not independent of people's prayers. Mm-hmm. But based on what I've been going through, I have persons that stand with me. And those prayers that have kept me. So don't give up, because God will show up like when He show up for me right now.
Oh, thank you so very much, Mrs. Malcolm, Sister Rosie. I mean, this is such a powerful testimony. I mean, you could be very revengeful, you could be bitter, and even though you're saying that you're not there as yet, you're still at a better place, because here you are talking about it, and you're not speaking from a place of bitterness, but you're speaking from a place of love. All right. And we think about crime and violence in the society, and how do we move beyond this crime and violence? What can we do as a church, as people? How can we find better ways to resolve disputes?
Well, we can find better way to deal with it by talking about it. Mm-hmm. If you and somebody have a problem and the person can't reason it out together, find someone who you trust. Mm-hmm. And let that person go to the person who you and them have that conflict and try and resolve it out. And if that person keep pushing it further, somebody is there that you can talk to. Don't take up matters in your hand, because sometimes when you take up matters in your hand, that's the time when the situation get worse. And you don't want to have your rights in your hand and throw it away. So there must be somebody who you can talk to. There's somebody who you can pray with, and let them give you advice and tell you how to go forward.
Excellent. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right here on Sip and Chat. We still serve a miracle working God. We are looking today at Sister Rosie Malcolm, who had a very terrible ordeal where she was stabbed 14 times. 14 times. 2 of which went directly in close to her mouth, 1 above her spine, in her face, and a lot more in her head. But today you're talking sober.
Yeah.
You're not stuttering.
No.
What a God.
What a God.
What a God, man.
Yeah, we serve a great big wonderful God.
We serve a great big wonderful God. Yeah, how do you try to just move beyond all of this and recognize that, people do things, and that they're behind that person, behind that spirit, behind that action, that they're still a good person, and love them again.
Well, it's hard. Trust me, it's hard a bit. And sometimes God allows us, we might say God don't love us, but God allows us to go through things. Because sometimes when you go through things, that is when you know who you really are in Christ. Because for me, this situation, it let me learn to pray more.
Mm-hmm.
It let me learn to read my Bible more. Because as a child of God, you have to learn to pray and read your Bible and fast and talk to God. And at the end of the day, you still have to love the person who done you wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You still have to love them. You can't look upon it and say, yes, they done it wrong, they have caused you pain. But don't look at the person. Look at the spirit who is operating in the person and deal with that spirit
Right.
spiritually.
The other day I was looking and I said there are some words, some little simple words like but, if, and we were looking at a number of them, and one of the little four-letter words, LOVE. I said, my God, this word is so little, so simple, but yet so powerful. And today we just want to say to somebody out there, think before you act, right? We need to learn to control our emotions in this season. So as we go forward this evening on such a very powerful evening here on Sip and Chat, I want to say to somebody, always when you're angry, because that is the big thing,
Right.
anger. When you're angry, you really need, they have this thing about counting to 10 and the sheeps, and you really need to step back from the situation and, like Sister Rosie rightfully say, get some help.
Right.
Get some help, because there are some things that can come back, because somebody could ruin their entire future just because they were impulsive and acted out of context. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so very much. Sister Rosie, what do you think about this? Like, in that moment, was there like a song that came to you? What comforted you the most?
Well, what comforted me to the most during that whole time, even when I was going through what I'm going through, as I said, the prayers keep me going. The songs keep me going.
Which song come back to mind?
It's amazing what praises can do.
Wow.
It's amazing because, as I said, at the time when I was planning, and I said I was planning to put down the Bible and everything, the song just dropped in my heart.
Wow. Why? You can imagine that, going through pain and discomfort, but the song that resonates with you, it's amazing what praises can do. And so today, if you're out there, you're suffering from an anger issue, there is help for you. There is help. We offer counseling here at MTM as well. And I'm sure there are many other churches that offer counseling. So if you're in a situation and you feel like you're overwhelmed, get help, because this could be, you could ruin your life. Miss Rosie, I want to thank you so very much for coming to talk to us here on Sip and Chat. I'm sure there are so many people who have been blessed by your testimony, coming back from your setback.
Amen.
Thank you so very much for joining us. And until next time, let us continue
to sip and chat.
Sip and chat, right?